Faf was looking to bat first. Good evening. It's time for qualifier number 2. It's time for Royal Challengers Bangalore versus Rajasthan Royals. It's time to find out who the second finalist will be, who will play Gujarat Titans in the final. So Nikhil Narayan's here with me, and the toss has been won by Rajasthan Royals. They have opted to bowl first. No surprises there, given that chasing has been an advantage on this ground at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. So Sanju Samson finally winning the toss and opting to field first. That's right. RCB at the toss, Faf du Plessis saying that he would have liked to bat first. So it's a win-win really for the two teams. Rajasthan Royals field an unchanged 11 for qualifier number 2. It's the same team. In fact, both teams have gone with their playing 11 from the last game. Both going for their settled 11. Both teams are looking good. Both teams want to win this desperately. All of their hard work and sweat, all that hard work has come down to this one moment. 25 minutes from now, a match that will decide who the second finalist will it. Will it be our Royal Challengers Bangalore, who just sort of went in after Mumbai Indians beat Delhi Capitals? So will it be Rajasthan Royals, who have actually been in the top 2 in the league stages? It comes down now to this moment, this match. Who will it be? That's the big question. Rajasthan Royals have won the toss. They put RCB into bat. How will these two teams play today? A lot will depend on some of their senior players, how they play, given that this is a do-or-die match. You'll need players who have big match temperament to come and stand up when it's needed. Nikhil, important now for both teams, especially Rajasthan Royals, given that they would want to win this desperately. They've been consistent, but they would want Jos Buttler, players who've been performing well throughout the tournament, to come good. Jos Buttler today strikes. Rajasthan, suddenly their percentage of winning improves by a huge margin.
Absolutely. In the big matches, you expect your big ticket players to do well.
Correct.
So Jos Buttler, Sanju Samson, your world-class bowlers. For RCB, Hasaranga.
Yeah.
You expect Maxwell, du Plessis, also Kohli, who's been in different form. Again, the top-class bowling attack. Shimron, Hetmair, Dinesh Karthik, all these players who've done well in the tournament to fire in the matches which matter the most. But big matches come with pressure.
Correct.
They come with, the pressure of expectation because it's and this is also a knockout match. So whichever team loses is out of. So both these teams don't have great records in qualifiers in playoff matches in the past. As franchises and as brands. So therefore, they're not like a MICSK or KKR who've done it in the past. So that also plays a record. RCB, in fact, has the worst record for any team
Correct.
in playoff matches. So therefore, all these things taken into account, it's going to be a very interesting contest. In the end of the day, I think the team which handles the pressure of this of the big match better will be the victor.
Absolutely. Okay, at the toss, Sanju Samson says that he will bowl first and says the wicket is a bit sticky and hopefully it'll help the bowlers first up. And also talked about the mood in the camp. Everybody's happy and excited. Emotionally, everyone's connected to the team and the franchise, something that Ravichandran Ashwin also echoed, saying that he's the happiest he's ever been in the IPL playing for Rajasthan Royals. So it's a team that's looking good. It's a team that's happy. You see that with all that comes out from their social media. So no changes for them. Then for Faf du Plessis, he says they were actually looking to bat first. He says that it's a good pitch and we believe runs on board in a big game will count in our favor. And I think that's my next question as well, Nikhil. Scoreboard pressure, how big a problem is that? And, in a situation like this, despite the fact that records suggest chasing can be an advantage, would you want to just go in and bat first?
This is the big debate. Personally, I think unless you have a great batting unit, great batting unit who can chase down any target, one should bat first in a playoff match.
Correct.
Especially in a playoff match because the pressure is just too high. If the team scores above 180, 185,
Absolutely.
the pressure is too high chasing. Scoreboard pressure, the best have built in scoreboard pressure.
Yes.
So therefore, I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that the Royals have decided to chase in this match. I know they've gone with the, the ground record suggests chasing an advantage, but, not many international games have been playing at this venue. That's a...
Yeah. Now, the other thing with chasing is also it's the first time the two teams are playing. You don't know how the pitch is going to play. The ground record is one thing, but you don't know how the pitch is going to play. So you want to give the other team a chance to set a target and then back yourselves to chase that down. So I think it's a debate that works
both ways.
Both ways.
It does.
And I guess that's how Sanju Samson and Rajasthan Royals team management sees it. They want to field first. Okay, now what does their head-to-head suggest? Let's take a look at their head-to-head overall. Total of 24 matches in which RCB have won 13 and RR have won 11. But the one that really stands out has been since 2020. If you look at that record, then Royal Challengers Bangalore have an advantage. 5 wins to Rajasthan Royals winning 1.
Yeah, I mean, that is the one which stands out for me. That 5-1 is a domination, and decent rivalry. RCB have a massive advantage. The one match they've lost is one of the times they've played in the tournaments, 1-1 in this tournament. But overall, 5-1 since 2020, that's a massive advantage to RCB.
Yeah. I also think that at the end of the day, even if these records count for nothing because the teams have completely changed,
correct,
the confidence that you get taken in a situation like this, Nikhil, I don't know if you'll agree with me, especially with a team like Rajasthan Royals versus a team like RCB, who have in fact struggled in the league stages, haven't been consistent. Do you then think that, look, we were one of the best teams, we were one of the top 2 teams, we can do this? Then for RCB, who have got in, but not quite sure of what their team's done, and in a sense be little underconfident, given that it was Mumbai Indians who helped them get in.
Yeah, I mean, it does help. I mean, RR overall have been the better team in the tournament, more balanced, always in the top 2, top 3. RCB was nowhere at the halfway stage. So, there you give RR more points. So, therefore, in head-to-head, RCB has more points. Yeah. But how they played in the tournament, the Royals have done better. So, very little to choose from between the two teams, considering the various parameters.
Okay, but this is one thing that we both can be sure of, is that these two teams both have brilliant bowling attacks. That's been one of the key things for them that has worked for them. It is going to be a clash of the two best bowling units in the tournament. RCB versus RR, both have world-class bowlers in their ranks. And you look at that and you realize the difference it has made for these two teams to make it to the playoffs.
Absolutely. The second and third highest most number of wickets after, surprisingly, LSG. RCB have been brilliant in the middle overs, the maximum wickets for any team. They've controlled the game in the middle overs. Not surprisingly, they have an economy of less than 8. Vanundu Hasaranga being the chief operator in the middle overs, the hero in the middle overs, and aided brilliantly by Harshal Patel. So, also, there you see Hasaranga and Chahal, the top wicket takers of the tournament. See, it's going to be a clash between the two leading wicket takers, and the two leading wicket takers happen to be 2 leg spinners.
Correct.
And both of them have such similar records, it's startling. I mean, 26, 25 wickets, similar strike rates. Also, both have done well in the death overs, picking wickets, and also restricting the opposition. So, these two are like, I mean, they're almost like 2 jewels in their team, and how they are used, how the captain uses this against which batsman, the matchups. These are all, going to be, strategies which can define this match.
That's right. In fact, Yuzvendra Chahal versus Virat Kohli is also something that can be interesting.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll talk about matchups in just a bit, but also, like Nikhil was saying, this is a contest between the 2 leg spinners. And almost like a healthy rivalry there between these two, constantly in the top 2 with Yuzvendra Chahal at the top at the moment, Vanundu Hasaranga right below him. But you look at these two and how good have they been for the team. When Yuzvendra Chahal, and he didn't want to leave RCB, left RCB, the question was, can they get someone to replace Yuzvendra Chahal? They've got an able leg spinner in Vanundu Hasaranga who's done the job well.
Absolutely. Hasaranga has been brilliant. I thought actually RCB would struggle without Yuzvendra Chahal. But the way Hasaranga has stepped into Yuzvendra Chahal's shoes, 25 wickets. I mean, matching him wicket for wicket. Controlling the middle overs brilliantly, and Hasaranga has also done brilliantly in the death overs. Not only has he picked wickets, if you see his economy rate in the death overs, I think it's just over 7.
Correct.
I mean, that is a phenomenal economy rate for a leg spinner to have in the death overs. So, Hasaranga and his which we'll see later in the show, his head-to-head with Sanju Samson. I mean, that is going to be one of the key tactics in this match. So, Varandu Hasaranga, absolutely brilliant, the leading wicket taker in the World T20, threatening to be the leading wicket taker in this IPL also. So, what a great bowler.
And you were suggesting this, that their figures almost similar. If you could put up the figures to see how well they've bowled in the tournament and how similar they've been. Hasaranga 25 wickets as a strike rate of 12.7, economy of 7.62, 6 wickets in 36 deliveries at death, economy of 7.33. I mean, economy of 7.33 in the death overs.
Phenomenal. Absolutely
brilliant. Brilliant. Pure gold, really. Then you look at Yuzvendra Chahal, 26 wickets at a strike rate of 13.8, just a slight difference there, 12.7, 13.8, economy of 7.7, 7 wickets in 72 balls in the death overs. Yeah, it's incredible.
I mean, there's nothing between that. I mean, one can argue that Hasaranga has been marginally better, if at all. But, there is not much into it. I mean, both of them have been absolutely outstanding for their franchise. Absolutely.
Okay. Then can the big three deliver for the Royal Challengers Bangalore? That's also a big question. Now, you've had Rajat Patidar win you the match the last time. He will not be able to do it every time. He may not be able to do it today. You need your top three to deliver. Can they do it? That is the big question. They haven't been consistent, Nikhil, which has been the problem with Royal Challengers Bangalore. The reason why they needed another team to win for them to qualify. Today, can they do it?
Yeah, I mean, for me today, forget Virat Kohli. Also, let's leave it out Maxwell. I think Faf du Plessis today needs to show, repeat one of his performances from CSK from the last 2 seasons. He needs to get that 70, 80 or 40, 50 balls.
Correct.
Because he is the world-class player who is in form. He has scored 443 runs.
Yeah.
Yes, at a lower strike rate, but that's not because... It's also because the factor of that Virat Kohli is failing, so he has to anchor the innings.
Right.
That strike rate of 130.29 is low for him. See, only 3 150 plus innings. Usually by now you would have at least 6 to 7 150 plus innings for him. But he's been batting cautiously. But today for me, Faf du Plessis at the top of the order, he needs to score heavily. They're batting first. He needs to score heavily and at a very high scoring rate. He can single-handedly, he can do a Joss Buttler for them easily. He has the game. He has the shots to match Joss Buttler.
Okay, so that is about Faf du Plessis. But what about the other two, Virat Kohli and Glenn Maxwell? Again, Virat Kohli, enough has been spoken about him on these shows. Everywhere else, we've seen people talk about him on social media all the time, but 334 runs at a strike rate of 116. 9 of those 15 innings he's failed in. 73 that he scored in the match before the last one. He looked good, but then again, the last match, 25 of 24 balls, struggling in the middle, not being able to get off to a big start, which they needed. You had Rajat Patidar. This didn't become as obvious because there's another player who was striking at almost 200 at the other end. But Virat Kohli and Glenn Maxwell, it's important that they score runs today.
It's important they contribute in whatever role has been assigned to them. And Virat Kohli also is strike rate against RR. I know the team has been changed, but his strike rate against RR is the worst for any team in his career. Minimum 5 matches. So, Virat Kohli, I don't know. I mean, he realizes himself. He is one of the greatest of all time. He needs to, contribute to the team. And also, his innings cannot be counterproductive to RCB, which has happened on a couple of occasions. He cannot be wasting deliveries. There's a stat, RCB has, I think, the lowest run rate in the power play in the tournament.
Yeah.
It is because, Virat Kohli has been so slow. It's also because of him, Faf du Plessis hasn't been able to accelerate. Faf du Plessis' strike rate is just around 107 behind the power play. He accelerates later because he's being forced to play as an accumulator. And RCB have that problem, which we'll see later, a problem in the power play.
Okay, then let's talk about Glenn Maxwell, the player that stood out for them last season. the player who said last season that RCB is the perfect place for me, the player who was being seen as their captain before they finally announced Faf du Plessis to be the captain. So a lot of trust has been put into Glenn Maxwell, and he hasn't been able to deliver. He's not been consistent, an average of 16.58. Yes, the strike rate's better, but again, we've not seen the Glenn Maxwell we saw last season.
Yeah, we haven't. I mean, that 500 runs at 150, that was a beast, Maxwell. That was Maxwell at his best. See, 277 runs in 12 innings. He hasn't scored much. That's the problem. He's 40 of 18 against the Titans being his best knock. He's given glimpses of his past, but he hasn't delivered that one wow innings. That 40 of 18 was wow. It finished the match. But apart from that, which he did consistently last season. And I'm also worried, this is his overall playoffs record. It's not that good. His overall record in playoff matches in all T20 cricket is not that good, which suggests that when the pressure is high, he does not do well, which is a cause of worry for RCB.
Okay, then we move on to what other problems do RCB have in the power plays. As Nikhil was saying, they need to step up their game in the first 6 overs. They've struggled their second lowest run rate of 7.22 in the first 6 overs. And it's not going to get any better against Rajasthan Royals bowling.
One of the best bowling, absolutely. And the chief reason for that is that Virat Kohli and Faf du Plessis have been slow. So du Plessis has been slow, and Virat Kohli, the way he's batting, he's not even striking at 100 in the power play. To add to that, they also have the worst economy rate with the ball in the first 6 overs. The worst. So if a duel, basically they are losing the match in the first 6 overs if they lose a match in both the innings, and therefore they need to up their game. Because they're always playing catch-up then in both the innings. So therefore, RCB needs to look into this power play problem in both the innings.
Okay, so if you're just joining us, we are talking about qualifier number 2 between Rajasthan Royals and Royal Challengers Bangalore. Rajasthan Royals have won the toss at the Narendra Modi Stadium. They've opted to field first. Both teams have decided to go with the same playing 11 from the last game. Rajasthan Royals winning the toss, telling Royal Challengers Bangalore to bat first, and both teams have gone in with the unchanged 11 from the last game. Now, interestingly, Faf du Plessis at the toss also said that he wanted to bat first. He said that the wicket looks good for batting first. And how much will this impact the result of the game? We'll have to wait and watch out for that. But chasing has been an advantage for teams here on this ground. At the same time, in a do-or-die situation, in a knockout match, how much will scoreboard standout finisher today, or will it be Shimron Hetmair? Strike rate of 187.28 in this edition. I mean,
yeah, he's been more destructive than Hetmair. Yeah, he's been brilliant. I think he's played, one innings more, one more higher impact innings than Shimron Hetmair. Little more destructive overall in the tournament. Their strike rate in the death is very similar. But I think also Dinesh Karthik, played again a cameo in the last match. Shimron Hetmair hasn't done well for the last few matches.
And he will be under pressure today chasing if he comes to bat.
That too. So add the pressure of chasing and the pressure of a big match as it is. So, also conditions, more... You're playing in a new venue. Dinesh Karthik is local Indian, so he knows the conditions much better than Shimron Hetmair at the Narendra Modi Stadium. So overall, I am sort of tilting towards Karthik to come do better than Hetmair.
It'll be interesting to see, will it be Dinesh Karthik or Shimron Hetmair? Now, what are the key battles in this match? Also, average first inning scores in Ahmedabad has been 174, so you can expect somewhere around that is good enough. Okay, now second inning score at Ahmedabad is 166. Okay, so which also goes on to see, which means that that's what you can expect around that score, is what you can expect today's score to be. Okay, now the key battles in the match. Let's begin with the first one in the power plays. We've talked about this. Joss Buttler versus Josh Hazlewood. Josh versus Joss. 5 innings, 28 balls, 32 runs, just dismissed once. The strike rate, though, has come down to 114 for Joss Buttler.
Here the strike rate is a standout statistic, because anyone who can control Joss Buttler to a little over run a ball has done a commendable job in 2020 cricket. So 114 to it actually is a brilliant performance by Hazlewood against Joss Buttler. But I don't think it will remain 114 to it today. It might well be 214.28. So,
That's
the way
what
Joss
Anna
Buttler...
would be hoping.
Yeah, but also, Hazlewood is in great form. Buttler is in great form. Australia versus England, that angle also comes in. So, it's going to be an interesting one.
It is going to be an interesting one. So that's one battle that we are looking forward to. The other one being Faf du Plessis versus Trent Boult. 11 innings, 64 balls, 62 runs, a strike rate of 96.87. This is again interesting, and he's been dismissed thrice by Trent Boult. Strike rate goes down.
3 dismissals, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 3 dismissals in 64 balls, strike rate very poor for someone of the caliber of Faf du Plessis. So again, Trent Boult has had the wood over Faf du Plessis. Faf du Plessis is in good form, although not at his aggressive best. Boult hasn't been at his, lethal wicket-taking best in the power play in this tournament, like he was in 2020 for Mumbai Indians. But Boult, I was seeing his numbers, has a very good record in big matches for New Zealand and in other T20 leagues. So it's going to be an interesting matchup between Boult and Faf du Plessis, because if du Plessis goes early, I don't think the likes of Rajat Patidar will be able to repeat their performance again.
That's true. Okay, then in the middle overs, Vanindu Hasranga versus Sanju Samson. This one we've discussed even before the last time, that these two teams were playing against each other. 6 innings, 23 balls, 18 runs. The strike rate of just 78.26, and he's been dismissed 5 times in those 6 innings, 4 of them by googlies, bowled by him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When Sanju Samson comes out to bat, I think Hasaranga will be given the ball straight away. I think the best Samson in who somehow take a single, do whatever, take a single.
Correct.
Because this is a absolutely startling, head-to-head. 5 dismissals in 23 balls. 78.26 is a strike rate. He hasn't been able to read Hasaranga off the hat.
Yeah.
I mean, he's if you read him off the pitch, obviously a bowler who bowls quick, who bowls out of googlies, you're going to have trouble against Hasaranga. And Sanju Samson, surprisingly, for a batsman of his caliber, hasn't been able to, decode Vanindu Hasaranga.
Okay, then the next one in the middle overs, Glenn Maxwell versus R. Ashwin. Glenn Maxwell would be under pressure to do well for his team. R. Ashwin, he's been good for Rajasthan Royals. 11 innings, 55 balls, 115 runs. But Glenn Maxwell likes to hit. R. Ashwin, 209 is the strike rate, has been dismissed twice, Nikhil.
Yeah, I mean, not surprisingly, because Ashwin is an off-spinner, ball coming into Maxwell. Maxwell can, take clean, put any, off-spinner into the stands. So this is going to be interesting, given that Ashwin was also taken for plenty in the last game. But Ashwin is, one of the most fierce competitors we have. So he'll know that his performance is crucial in the middle overs. He needs to support Chahal. So let's see. I'm expecting a big performance from Ashwin today.
Okay, then we move on to the death overs, and this one again is one that I'm looking forward to. Dinesh Karthik versus Yuzvendra Chahal. Dinesh Karthik versus spinners, that in itself, and then against Yuzvendra Chahal, 10 innings, has been dismissed thrice. Strike rate comes down to 88. The same man who's striking at 200 plus in the death overs against Yuzvendra Chahal is unable to hit them.
And this makes this contest, so fascinating, because ideally you would want Chahal to bowl all the overs between 7 and 16, but he's also bowled in the death. And I think at least Sanju Samson will hold 1 over back for this contest. If Karthik comes in the death overs, given that record, not even striking at 100, got him out thrice.
Correct.
So I think Chahal versus Karthik, I think it's going to be a fascinating battle, and Chahal has had the wood over him in the recent past.
Okay, now I've just been sent some the stats from Preet, our intern on the desk, who's saying highest score chased is 166 for 3. This is India versus England in 17.5 overs in Ahmedabad.
Okay.
And the lowest score defended is 185 for 8, 20 overs by India versus England. The same match, in the second match.
Okay, interesting.
So, yeah, that's for all of you. In case you were wondering what was the match last time here, these are the last 2 matches. Okay, then let's talk about in the death overs. Another one is between Shimron Hetmair versus Hershel Patel. Now, we haven't spoken enough about Hershel Patel and the difference he made even in the last game, Nikhil. At one point, you felt like maybe they could lose the match, but Hershel Patel, again, bowling in the death, showing what he's capable of. Shimron Hetmair versus him, 3 innings, 25 balls. Not much there, 34 runs, strike rate of 136, but Hershel Patel would want to get him out.
Absolutely. I mean, not much in the head-to-head, but it's going to be a battle which will play out towards the end of the middle or in the death overs. Harshal Patel has been brilliant in the middle overs and also very good in the death overs. He's picked up wicket in the death overs, a number of slower runs and variations he has. Hetmair not in great form in the second half of the tournament. Like the consistency he's shown surprised all of us in the first half. I'm expecting actually Harshal Patel to win this battle against Shimron Hetmair.
And how good has Harshal Patel been again, and has been doing it in different stages. You tell him to bowl, especially in the death, but even in the middle overs, you've said that he's been so impactful. Okay, now the last time these two teams met, take a look at the scorecard of that, Nikhil, and I wonder how much of an impact would that have. RCB winning that game by 100 and they scored 173 runs. Look at that. Dinesh Karthik and Shahbaz Ahmed bailing them out after Joss Buttler gave Rajasthan a good start. You remember that?
Absolutely.
One match that Dinesh Karthik finished for them.
Yeah, I mean, again, that combination of Dinesh Karthik and Shahbaz Ahmed. It's like the Batman and Robin for Titans, Rahul Tewatia and David Miller. So similar pairing for them also. And there was a match also 3 weeks after on April 26th, I think. And we'll have, there it is. Yes. This was won by the Royals. In both the matches, I think Yuzvendra Chahal was pretty impressive. He was, I think, one bowler who wasn't wrong. But it's 1-1, so I don't think it's any advantage to any team based on the tournament. But as I said, RCB's 5-1 record since 2020 is a slight advantage to RCB.
If you look at the bowling unit, if you could just put the playing 11 for Royal Challengers Bangalore, and we talk of their bowling unit, Nikhil, you've seen how Harshal Patel has bowled, how Josh Hazlewood has been brilliant for them, Mohammad Siraj.
The weak link.
The weak link there. Can he come good today?
See, there was one sort of, we discussed that RCB have the worst economy rate in the power play. The reason for that has been Siraj. He's been one of the most expensive bowlers in the power play, almost conceding 9.5, 10. But Siraj has been used, if he can be used in the middle overs where he has a very restrictive economy rate, it will be better. So I think the best for them would be to use Hazlewood in the power play along with Hershel, use Siraj with Hasaranga in the middle overs, but don't use Siraj in the power play and death. I mean, that's the best they can do tactically.
Okay, Virat Kohli and Faf du Plessis in the centre, Trent Bolt with the new ball. Can we expect what we saw in the other match where Trent Bolt set it up for Prasidh Krishna to then bowl one shot, Virat Kohli trying to pull top edging and getting out? I'm
worried about the Trent Bolt ball which comes in. By the time we go up and open our television sets,
he'll be fired up. They know the importance of getting these two out early on.
And the first couple of overs are very crucial. If RCB don't lose a wicket, it will get interesting. If they lose one of these two, big trouble for RCB.
And the ball's swinging away right now.
Trent Bolt in business.
It'll be interesting to see how this turns out. But prediction times before we say goodbye, Nikhil?
55 RCB, 45 Royals. I'm sorry, I know you don't agree with me, but just because momentum, head-to-head, again, I think marginally, those big names, although they haven't done well, more big names than the Royals.
I would think Rajasthan Royals, simply because they deserve to be in the finals. It would be best to have the top two teams who qualified in the league stages to play the final. But life's not fair, as I would know if Rajasthan Royals do not win today. But yes, there's been a slight pause because there's an intruder causing a bit of a pause in play, as this ball by ball tells me. But yes, Faf du Plessis, Virat Kohli in the middle. I'm sure RCB fans would want Virat Kohli to score some runs, so they want from Faf du Plessis. But will they be able to? That's the big question. That's it from Nikhil and me. News 9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to for the latest from the world of sports. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.